G'day everyone, Gooby here with another Torchlight Infinite Season SS7 video. I just got done with my season preview. Look, pretty good video. And now I'll be going over the patch notes. There is a fair bit of information missing from here. However, I just want to check something. It's been fixed there, but not there. Anywho, some minor, typos and stuff still in it, but it is mostly pretty decent to look at. So in the season patch notes, it doesn't go into things like on the max roll. On the Max Roll website, it does have the magnificent, etc. skill supports. However, this just says exclusive skill supports have been added for these. In the patch notes, it doesn't have them. However, on the Max Roll website, it does. I'm not sure if they're accurate. If they're not accurate, I'm just going to go off the patch notes, because last season I was going between TLIDB and maxroll.gg, and it was quite honestly a disaster, and that is why they have gone back to patch notes. Which is, what everyone's used to. If you want to go and search the TLIDB wiki database after this, then that'll be there as well, and you're obviously more than welcome to do that. So if you watch the season preview, it goes over the season mechanic, which is Arcana. You encounter cards within the gameplay, spawns a little, encounter. You do it, you get loot, different things for different things, basically. What is that noise? So the season mechanic is Arcana. That will be in every single map, so you won't have to add a compass to do it. Maybe they should introduce compasses to enhance the season mechanic. That would be pretty cool. Missed opportunity there. So if you want to enhance the current season mechanic, you can do it, but that's not in the game. The new system, Destiny, transforms your damage pack spirits into a new system, which has all of these fates, kismets, and etc. Different zones will be able to install different fates or kismets based on what you need. There is a whole bunch of build enabling, well, not enabling, build enhancing things. So for Boom Moto, you have plus 20% minion life. The way that minion self-destruct damage is calculated now, it is 0.02% damage for every 1 life or energy shield that a minion has. So plus 20% minion max life is a pretty huge deal. If let's say your minion has 5,000 life, so if the minion has 5,000 life times 1.2, now it has 6,000 life, so 1,000 times 0.02, it's just 20% additional damage, which is pretty huge. Well, it's 20% more damage. I don't know if it's additional or more, but it is what it is. Screw synthetic troops have increased crit strike rating. There is a few things in here for synthetic troops, which is not the Iris troops. It is the synthetic as well. There was another one, I think it is a legendary item that makes non-physical synthetic troops pretty interesting, but we'll get to that a bit later. So as you go through all the kismets, there is singles, and then down below, if you equip 2 of any, it unlocks an additional effect. So let's take this one for example, dual kismet Thunder Branch. If there are 2 of this kismet on a packed branch, activate the following effects. Have level 20 Lightning Magus Origin effect with plus 30% Origin of Spirit Magus effect. So it is a 30% increase to the buff that you get, which is pretty cool. You don't have to have the Spirit Magus reserving your mana. You just get the Origin effect with plus 30% bonus on top of that, which is pretty cool. That will be extremely useful for, say, the Rock Core. The Rock Core is a damage reduction to physical damage. So if you have, if it's like 10% by default, this will make that a 13% damage reduction, which is pretty cool. And the Dark Moon is the Erosion Magus. That is a reduction to dot damage, which is also pretty cool. So there is an absolute mozza of kismets and micro and medium fates that can be covered. This one right here is pretty cool. 0.4% energy shield restored on, it says defeat, however it really should just say kill, because every time you kill an enemy, you know, you'll restore some energy shield, and that is a percentage of your energy shield. So if you have 15,000, that is restoring a ton every single time. But yeah, there is a lot of kismets here that will enhance your builds more than just generic plus 10% damage, you know, that the current damage pack spirits have. It is purely damage pack spirits. It does not affect the it doesn't affect the drop spirits. I'm really glad that this was reworded. It was word salad for sure. So Vigilant Breeze allows the Spirit Magus to be placed in an active skill slot. Otherwise, everyone else will only be able to put the Spirit Magus in a buff slot, the bottom 3 slots of your skill tree. When an active skill is a Spirit Magus, it is considered the same as using the trait skill. Using the trait skill will activate or deactivate the Vigilant State. The Vigilant State is fusing with your Magus. Upon activation, you will fuse with the Spirit Magus, gaining 5 stacks of Breeze. During the Vigilant State, the fused Magus consumes 20% of its max life per second and gains 1 stack of Breeze per second, up to a maximum of 10 stacks when not in the Conjuring state. So basically, a Spirit Magus has a life pool. When it gets down to 0, it doesn't die, it just goes into a Reconjuring state, comes back up to max life, and then is resummoned. And that is what it is talking about there. The fused Spirit Magus loses 2 stacks of Breeze for every 1 second when not fused or in the Reconjuring state. So it's basically when it's regenerating, it loses its stacks of Breeze every second. And yeah, so you don't just get it to max Breeze and that's it. So what is Breeze? Breeze is 10% additional damage dealt by the fused Spirit Magus. Fusion with Spirit Magus, priority is the skill slot order, then the highest life with a 3-second cooldown. So you can have multiple Spirit Maguses, say in slot 1, 2, and 3. If they are all getting reconjured, whichever the one has the highest life at that time will be the next one in the pool that is summoned, so you don't really have any downtime. Yeah, because the one that you're not using, they can still take damage and effectively die. So you just want to, be mindful of that. Vigilant allows you to control Spirit Magus and use Spirit Magus skills to attack enemies. You take all damage from enemies in place of the Magus you currently control, not all the extras, just the one that you control. All skills except the second one change to Spirit Magus skills. So you'll effectively gain a second action bar with skills to use for the Spirit Magus. There is some skills here that you can equip to further enhance. I won't go into it. I haven't really read deep into that. However, you'll be able to come up with some pretty cool things around the Spirit Magus. There is a talent node that enhances the ability to... which one is it? It's one of these that you can spam the... this one, right here, the first one. So the ultimate skill is fused with the Spirit Magus, has no cooldown. However, every time you use the ultimate, it consumes a portion of the life based on what level the hero talent is. You can get hero talent levels on your hero memories, so that's why it's 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. And it gains extra stacks of breeze every time you use that ultimate. The flip side to that is enhanced life regeneration for the I think it's this one is the flip side of this one. I don't know why it's not together. No, it must be these two. When a Spirit Magus uses an enhanced skill, it restores max life. So that prolongs the uptime of the Spirit Magus, whereas spamming the ultimate skill reduces its uptime, basically. So that's the two flip sides of the coin. You can either do more damage through the ultimate skill, or you can have enhanced skill usage. This is interesting because I think it was the Frost Spirit a few seasons ago. The ultimate skill was pretty garbage. However, the enhanced skill was what was dealing all of your damage. So you wouldn't really go with this one. You would just go with this Spirit Magus one for the enhanced skill, so it could spam that, and you would just blitz through the maps in that way. I don't know about these ones. I haven't looked at them. Sorry. So where is that? Yeah, this one here. Machine Lord Int Helmet. This looks pretty interesting. Bit of resistance. Cool. Synthetic Troop minion max quantity is limited to 2. So instead of being able to get up to 6 minions, you are now limited to 2. However, minions have increased size, and synthetic troops deal 120 to 160% additional physical damage as fire, as cold, and as lightning damage. So that is pretty huge. You're restricting yourself from 6 minions to 2. However, you are gaining 120 to 160% additional damage to 3 additional damage types, which is pretty cool. You could potentially pair that with maybe the Sage's Insight, which when a spell hits cause cold damage. That's I know it has the spell tag. However, I don't know if these two will interact with each other, because this one, when you deal cold, it reduces the other two resistances by 10 to 20%. so that effectively gives you 10 to 20% pen. When a spell hits with fire, reduces the other ones. So if the Machine Lord is dealing all 4 damage types, it's not dealing erosion. Or if you it's the wrong class, isn't it? So if you're dealing all 3 damage types, effectively you are getting pen against the others, and in turn. I wonder if it stacks if you're dealing cold and fire, if it reduces lightning twice. I don't know. Be interesting if that stacked. 40% pen could be pretty cool. A bunch of other legendary item changes. New legendary pack spirits. There's always one for the season mechanic and one for the season minion. Balance adjustments and stuff. There has been a lot of adjustments to scepters. So skill damage to wilt base damage. Just a bunch of adjustments to what they were and what they will be in the next season. What else? Lone Walker boots has been a big change. So matchless gear will be rarer and only drop in time mark 8+. Imperial Might versus Eternity. Eternity was far outperforming Imperial Might, and Imperial Might price was just plummeting. So they have removed Imperial Might. It'll no doubt come back in next season. However, it'll be boosted. Having Imperial Might as a chest before worked, and Eternity as a necklace worked because they weren't competing. However, they made them both belts last season, and Eternity just outperformed it in every way. So it has been removed, and the Lone Walker's boots have been upgraded to a ultimate legendary, and the effects have been buffed. So it used to only affect yourself. Now it can affect your minions as well. So they might be a pretty cool, legendary for everyone. There's a bunch of talent adjustments. Basically, everyone was going with the aura one because it was just mandatory for running more than 2 auras, and now everything else has been slightly upgraded, and off the beaten track has been nerfed a little bit. Ooh, that's interesting. I only just saw this one. Div slates 70% of the bonus to movement speed also applies to the cooldown recovery of mobility skills. Used to get 2 of those and replicate it with the Prairie. Now you are limited to 1 of this slate. So you can't get 280%. You can only get 140%. So that is effectively a 50%-ish damage nerf to the current Carino build, Reap. So, RIP. Still going to be insane. It just won't be as insane as last season. Steep Strike has had a rework. I don't know how it used to work before, but now it's basically just the same as a crit strike chance. Every time a skill is used, it is calculated whether it's a steep strike or not. And every ability that had steep strike chance on it has been basically reduced or reworked to be in line with the new mechanic. This is another minor thing that I thought was pretty cool. When wielding two-handed weapons, attacks have a 3 to 5% chance to deal triple damage. This is the first time in Torchlight Infinite that I have seen triple damage. Chests have a chance to be tripled. So yes, that's the only point where it mentions triple damage, which is the Kismet of Giant. It does only say attacks, it doesn't say minions as well, so I probably won't benefit from this. However, your big two-hander Rehans with, you know, Seismic Slam and all that sort of stuff. Demolisher charges got reworked a bit in this as well to deal more damage. So if you have a 5% chance of dealing triple damage for a charge Rehan or something, that would be pretty sweet, in my opinion. A lot of the tanky support skills have been nerfed slightly. So Frost Shield, for example, additional physical and fire damage reduction has been reduced from 32% to 24%. Stone Skin damage absorption value reduced from 1800 to 1350. This is to balance out the Kismets that add your armor to your barrier, which is, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's just a different way of getting that damage absorption. Now, you probably may not need Stone Skin. You can just focus on stacking barrier instead. A lot of the damage for the lesser used skills has been buffed, or in other cases it has been reworked to say instead of being 100 base damage with 5 attacks, it'll be 150 base damage with 3 attacks. So you're still gaining more. However, it may initially look like a 50% boost, but it's realistically a 20 or 30% boost. I did like how in the video Arrow Einhar was changed to follow the character. So instead of being a drop turret, they now follow you around. So that is going to be absolutely insane for the campaign. The shotgun effect, in my brain, that means something completely different. I don't really understand it, but it has been reworked and reduced in a lot of cases. So if your class relies on the shotgun effect, maybe just have a quick look at the patch notes and see if it is majorly affected by the changes. Going down to Commander Moto charge calling, there has been a few reworks. Increase the spawn speed of synthetic troops from 2 to 2.5, so a 25% boost there, which is good. The delay used to be insane. Hopefully it's a lot better this season. When minions activate self-destruct protocol, the base skill speed and charge speed increases from 1.5 to 2.5, 1.25 to 2.5. So that is a 100% speed increase there. Increase the icon show for the number of parts when picking up parts. Whatever. I'm never going to look at that anyway. I'm just going to spam the ability, so whatever. Charge calling no longer causes minions to add 3% of life and energy shields. Base physical damage to self-destruct now makes minions deal an additional 0.2% damage for every 1 max life or energy shield when self-destructing. And self-destruct's base damage is increased by 25%. Unstoppable Wave, for each mechanical part picked up recently, additional 2% damage has been increased to 3 to 3.5% minion damage. Stacking up to 30 times has been reduced to stack up to 20 times. That's one of those examples. It seems like it is basically a 100% damage increase. However, you're stacking it up less. So instead of it stacking to plus 60%, it can now stack to, what's that, 70%? So it's just a minor rework there. It stacks up faster for a little bit of a buff. And finally, guerrilla tactics. For each recent mechanical part picked up, gain an additional 2% self-destruct protocol charge speed, and an additional 1 has been changed to 3% self-destruct protocol damage, stacking up to, instead of 50 times, stacks up to 20 times. So again there, it used to be a 50% buff, now it is a 60% buff instead. So don't get caught out going, it's a 300% damage increase, when it's not. It's really just from 50 to 60%. There is a bunch of other trait changes here. I don't really play these characters, so I don't really comment on these. I don't know what that is, but that seems insane. 1 meters is basically inside your character model, so maybe that is good. Alrighty, let's look at some drop adjustments in the gameplay adjustments. Energy core scarcity, reduce the quantity of energy cores required for gear empowerment. However, the late game is unchanged. That just means it's good and bad. I flip energy cores at the start of a season as they are heavily sought after. This is going to reduce that velocity, I guess you would say, of flip potential. However, end game, it's still going to use a whole bunch. So once you have the flame elementium to buy energy cores, you'll be able to sink FE into that. And it is only for non-priceless gear, so that basically covers on the early game, because you're not really getting priceless gear too early in the campaign or in maps. Compass drop adjustments. They have increased the drop rate of high value compasses. However, they have reduced the overall drop quantity. So hopefully you won't be getting 8,000 of the normal enemy compasses, and you'll be getting more relevant compasses throughout. Time Mark 8 beacons, adjusted the drop rate of beacons to match Time Mark 8, stabilizing their long-term value. I don't really understand what that means, but maybe they'll drop less, so you won't be able to just farm them up early in the season and make huge profits. Maybe they'll be... maybe it'll still work, however... it'll be just a little bit of a adjustment. Drop mechanism explanations are in the help menu now. The help menu in the in-game is exceptionally good. In my opinion, you can just type in anything you want there. If you want to know how reap damage works, just type it into the help menu. It'll give you a bit of an overview. And then if you want to look at a calculator, you can always go to my tracking spreadsheet and go to the reap calculation and check out my calculator here. Also, just a quick plug, if you are over cap of the damage dummy, you can always check out a previous video that I've done on how to calculate the DPS over the dummy cap. And there is a little calculator in here as well. Anywho, back to the patch notes. A huge one, Flame Sand can now be converted 300 to 1 into Flame Elementium, which is a fantastic. Confusion cards have had another rework. They, Aimless looks pretty cool, 20 FE. You'll probably see that twice in the entire season because that's just how it goes. Same with Ultimate Ember. You'll find none of these early on, and then at the end of the season, when Ultimate Embers are worth 1 or 2 Flame Elementium, this will pop up all of the time. But it's good to see that there is a whole bunch of new Rainbow Confusion cards. But yeah. Ooh, that's interesting. Rainbow Confusion card for the God of Might also provides 100% drop quant, which is pretty cool. The Rainbow Confusion card from the God of Machines draw now also grants an additional turn of attack. That's poorly worded. I'm going to guess that that is another use of the trial. Turn of attack. Missed that one, sorry. A bit of a change to the compasses. They actually look like compasses now. Just a little bit of a minor update there. I highly doubt they are updated in the trade house to actually tell you what they are without having to click on them all. God Talent Constellations have had a little bit of a rework. We'll get into these when we can actually play in the game. And what are those kids doing? Pretending cars? I don't know. So yeah, once we get into the game, we can actually do some farming strategies. We'll discuss those a little bit more. The Frozen Canvas has had a slight rework. So it will be more mainstream. Apparently it'll make more Flame Elementium rather than making a ridiculous amount of Flame Elementium. Couple of Tarnish the Stars has been removed, and whatever these two are have been added. And Lost Cache has been changed from 7 to 3. I don't even know what Lost Cache was. And yeah, some quality of life upgrades, co-op enhancement. Clicking on another player's character model no longer brings up the character menu, which was pretty annoying when you were in town and you were trying to use your stash. You would accidentally click on someone to bring up their little info tab. That no longer happens. Added a new reconnection mechanism with long-term disconnections, resulting in stage removal. It's good to see that they're still enhancing co-op. I honestly thought it was a implement and forget forever, which is interesting. Stronger negative affixes are now highlighted in red. If you look at those, I don't really... Added drop quantity bonuses for compasses in Timarch 8. That's pretty cool. Timarch 8 is a more viable now. It always was, but more reason to maybe push higher earlier. Monster adjustments adjusted the hit detection, not of just this skill, but other skills as well. Hopefully this one adjusts the judge, because often you get killed by a Malice Judge about 4 screens before you can actually see it, and I have a pretty massive screen, so I can only imagine players with smaller resolutions. City Defense gameplay looks pretty cool. Extra tiers to the boss conquest. A lot of players got over 3140, but towards the end of the season. So there's an extra 500 stages that you can get rewards for, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the patch notes. A few enhancements to the trade house. It kind of looked like you could put that price filter in the search, but then later on it looked like it wasn't, so I'll have to wait until it goes live to see what that is like. What is these last few? Yeah, whatever. So that is the current patch notes for Torchlight Infinite Season SS7. We are still waiting on the exclusive support skills, so the Magnificence, etc., to see how it affects these abilities. Arrow Einhar is going to be pretty useful. Mind Control is going to be pretty good. So next few videos, I have already made a couple. However, I'll be going over some league starters, and I will see you in those videos very soon. For what do we got? 5 days until the season. Hell yeah. See you then. Cheers.